As always, we'll start with warming up the body with some fascia circles. So just find somewhere on your mat and we'll start with the left leg circling through the ankle. I think you're all familiar with this drill by now. Just circling through all the major muscles, all the major joints to make sure that our muscles are lubricated before we start. Taking those circles in the other direction. And then moving into the knee. And then taking those in the other direction. And then moving into the hip, trying to get that biggest movement that you can, really getting into the hip. Probably a little bit of popcorn going on this morning. And then take it in the other direction. Excellent. Then we'll move over to the other foot. So starting with the ankle, really getting into all those different bits of movement in the ankle. We have a class this morning of all sorts of things. Take that in the other direction. We're doing some stuff on the legs, some stuff on the core, some stuff to get us moving around and get our heartbeat up, get you feeling smug for the rest of the day. Moving into the knee. You will be pleased to know there's no sit-ups though. No belly bonfire, no swimming, no pulsing. And then take that in the other direction. And then moving into the hip. As always, once we get into the class, if you need to rest, then rest. And if something doesn't feel good, then feel free to modify. It's your own practice. And then bring those circles in the other direction. Good. Then take the feet quite wide and circle into the hips. Really bringing the hips forward and taking them back. And then taking again those circles in the other direction. And then bringing those hips to stillness, hands on the hips, try and circle through the ribs, really getting some movement into the middle back. Stretching the rib cage forward, circling it around the back. And then take those ribs in the other direction. And then moving into the shoulders, really scrunching those shoulders up and rolling them down the back. And then squeezing the shoulder blades together and rolling them forwards. And then into the wrists, circling through the wrists with an open hand. And in the other direction. And then make a fist, circle one way and then circle the other way. Moving into the elbows, a few circles through the elbows and in the other direction. And then really big circles through the shoulders. As always, if the shoulders are tight, you can always do backstroke instead of both arms together. And then bring those circles forwards. And again, if the shoulders are tight, you can always do front crawl. Then bring the hands down by the sides. Take the left ear toward the left shoulder. Just then relax that right shoulder down. And then let the chin come towards the shoulder. Scrape the chin all the way around the collarbones at the front. And then take the right ear towards the right shoulder, relaxing the left shoulder down. Take the chin back towards the shoulder. Scrape it all the way around the front of the collarbones. And come back to the starting position. Lifting the head up straight. Keep the chin parallel to the floor. Look around over the left shoulder. Maybe giving the chin a little push with the right hand, whilst you also then press the chin back into the fingers. And then to the other side. And again, maybe give the chin a little push as you press the chin back into the fingers. Coming back to center, interlace the fingers and place the palms on the back of the skull. So the curve of your skull is in your palms. Take the chin down towards the chest and then press your head back up into your hands as much as you press your hands into your head. Couple of breaths here. And then release that off. Our breath this morning will be the breath of joy. So with the breath of joy, we do 3 inhales and then a long exhale. So you inhale a tiny bit, then you inhale a bit more, then you inhale a bit more, and then you let all the breath go. And we do it with the arms. So the breath of joy, we inhale the arms up in front as you inhale into the chest, into the belly. We inhale the arms out to the side as we inhale into the ribs. We then inhale up to full with our arms up above our heads. And then as we exhale, we forward fold over the legs. So it looks like this. Okay, so we'll do a few together. You ready? Excellent. So 3 inhales. Let's go. Up, out, up, fold. Inhale, 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 fold. Three more. Good stuff. So great breath for really energizing the body and getting us ready for movement. So a little bit of time for warm up and then we'll move into our HIIT sessions. So come towards the top of the mat. Do a few rounds of sun salutations. Inhaling, arms up. Exhale, forward fold, bend the knees. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Step back with the left leg, step back with the right leg. Bring the knees, the chest and the chin to the floor, and then roll forward into cobra. Exhaling down, tuck the toes, push the hips back and up into our first downward dog. And as it's our first, let's have a padding out of the feet here, taking one heel down as you bend the opposite knee, taking the other heel down as you bend the opposite knee. Really ground down through the hands, spreading the fingertips wide. Let the head hang heavy. Take the chest through towards the thighs. Knees can be as bent as they need to be. Really stretching through that back. And then bringing the left foot forward behind the left wrist, stepping the right foot forward behind the right wrist. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward, bend the knees. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Bend the legs. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. This time, right leg back, then left leg back. Either knees, chest, chin, or come down to chaturanga, and then into cobra or up dog. Really stretch the chest forward. Really elongate through the core. And then take the hips up, coming over into downward facing dog. Really come up onto the tiptoes. Take the chest towards the thighs. And then lower the heels as far as you can down towards the mat to get stretched down the backs of the legs. A nice big inhale here. And a really big exhale, trying to relax into our downward facing dog. And step the right foot forward, step the left foot forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale all the way up to the top. Exhale, hands back to heart center. Excellent. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, forward fold, bend the knees a lot. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Take the left leg back, drop the knee. Keeping the left hand on the floor, we'll circle through the right shoulder, really big circles. 3 in one direction, and then we'll take 3 in the other direction. Really articulating that shoulder, getting into the edges of the movement. Then place that hand back down and step the front foot back to downward facing dog. Float the left leg up behind you. Bring the left foot forwards in between the hands. Drop the back knee and then circle through the left shoulder. Really big circles, 3 one way. And then 3 in the other direction. Then ground down through the hands. Lift the back knee, step forwards. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Bend the knees and inhale all the way to the top. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. Step back with the left leg. Keeping the hands grounded and really grounding down through the left leg. Take the right leg all the way through and up towards the ceiling. Then bend at the knee and do 3 circles through the right hip. And then take those circles in the other direction for 3. Good. Stretch that leg out long and then bring it forwards into pigeon and just stretch in pigeon for a moment. So really trying to keep the hips forward and really trying to stretch the glutes down towards the mat. One more breath here. Then grounding down through the fingers, tuck the back toes and lift the knee and step the front leg back to plank. Take the weight forward over the hands and do knees, chest, chin, or come down to chaturanga and then into cobra or upward facing dog. Then taking the hips up towards the ceiling, really grounding down through the right foot this time. Float the left leg up, bend at the knee, and do 3 circles through the left hip. And then take those circles in the other direction. And then really stretching that leg up, bring it forwards into pigeon. And just have a stretching pigeon on this side, keeping the hips facing forwards. Really feeling the stretch into the left glute muscle and potentially down that left leg. One more breath here. Placing the hands down, Tuck the toes and lift the back knee, and then step back to your downward facing dog. Stretch the chest through towards the thighs, then looking forwards, bend the knees, step, jump or hop forwards, landing lightly. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, forward, bend the knees. Inhale all the way to the top. Exhale, hands to heart center. Good stuff. Okay, time for HIIT. Yes, it's hot HIIT too. First exercise is inchworm or burpees. It's up to you. So I'll give you 3 different levels. Level 1 is inchworm. So we inhale up, we exhale down, we walk the feet to the back of the mat, walk the hands to the back of the mat, inhale up, inhale down. Then we inch our hands to the front of the mat, inch our feet to the front of the mat, inhale up, inhale down, and continue. So that's inchworm, level 1. Level 2 is a double hop burpee. So we go down into our burpee position, keeping our hips back of our knees. We do a hop, 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 and then a pop with a fist of fire. So that's level 2. Level 3 is a double hop and a double pop. So we take our hands down, hop, 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 pop. First few rounds, we're going to keep our feet on the floor. As we get further through, we might come onto our fingertips, our toe tips, or tiptoes, that's the word I'm looking for, or tiptoes, those ones. And the last round, we might bring in a little jump, and then we'll go back down. So it's up to you. First couple of rounds I'll give you cues for each of those. So either inchworm, double hop burpee, or a double hop and a double pop burpee. Entirely up to you. Get ready at the top of your mats. So the first one I'll do is inchworm. So you inhale up, exhale fold. Walk the feet back to the back of the mat, walk the hands back. Inhale up, exhale fold. Walk the hands forward, walk the feet forward. Inhale up, inhale down. Walk the feet back. Oh, and the first round's done. Rest. Okay, so this round I'll do double hop burpees. Down we go. Hop, 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 pop. And then we go back down. Hop, 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 pop. Good stuff. Hop, 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 pop. We exhale as we come up. Hop, 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 and rest. Okay, the next one I'll demonstrate double hop, double pops. Make sure you keep the breath moving. Taking the hips backwards so we're not stressing the knees too much. Hop, 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 hop. Hop, 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 pop, sit, pop. Down we go. Hop, 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 hop. And rest. Good. That's 3 down, 5 to go. Make sure you get plenty of breath in the body in between. Let's go. Make sure you're not jumping too far back. The further the reach of the jump, the more difficult the burpee. And rest, halfway. Well done. Remember to keep that core engaged as we move. Let's go, next round. Hop, 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 hop. I find it easier to have my feet hip width. Make sure you have control in the movement. Good stuff. And rest. Great one to get your heart rate going, this one. Okay, next round. Hop, 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 hop. Hop, 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 hop. Have some engagement in the arms as you're moving them. Hop, hop. Yes. 2 more rounds to go. So if you want to make that a hop, a little jump, or coming up onto your toes, then let's do that. Hop, 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 hop. Squeeze everything in. Squeezing allows you to keep control. And rest. We have 1 more round to go. It's only 20 seconds. It's totally permanent. It's going to go really quick. Let's go, last round. Got to pop. You've done it. Well done. Rest. Rest, rest, rest. Hopefully you have some water to hand. So grab some water. Okay, so while I'm explaining the next one, come down into Sphinx pose. Just let those hip flexors have a bit of a rest. Maybe roll the hips from side to side. And just let the breath come back to normal a little bit. So because that's quite a lot on the wrists, the next exercise is on the legs. So, the next exercise is fists of fire, chair, lunge backs. So, we go into chair. We lunge back as we bring our fists to our hips. We go back to chair. We lunge back and our fists come to our hips. So this is the same exercise for everybody. So we're all in chair. Your feet want to be hip width for this one, because when we step back, I did my arms the wrong way around then. When we step back, we want our feet to still be hip width because that gives us stability. So we're pulling the inner thighs towards one another, we're pulling the core in. This front leg is going to stay bent for the whole 20 seconds. So you're really going to fire up the glutes in this exercise. We'll do 4 on one leg, 4 on the other leg. So just to show you again, we start off in chair with the feet to hip width. Nice big inhale, exhale, lunge, and fists of fire. So these arms, it's like you're pulling them through treacle. So we've got some engagement in the arms. So inhale here, inhale, inhale, okay? Excellent, up you get. You're gonna love this one. So, 4 rounds on one leg, 4 rounds on the other leg. Doesn't matter which way you decide. So, finding your space towards the top of your mat, coming down into chair. Let's go. So lunge as you exhale. Inhale, chair, exhale, lunge back. Inhale, chair, exhale, lunge back. Keeping that front leg nice and bent. Trying to keep the head up if you can. Good work, and rest. So we're keeping on the same leg. Maybe having a little walk from side to side. Second round, let's go. Chair, lunge back. Chair, chair. Inhale, exhale. Inhale forwards, exhale as you lunge back. Pull those hands through treacle. Really engage the core. And rest. Okay, that's 2 down, 2 more to go on this leg, then we switch to the other side. Let's go. Chair. Really engage that core, make sure you've got stability in your movement. Going as fast or as slow as you want. Keeping that core pulled in, keeping the inner thighs pulled in, and rest. It's probably starting to bend by now. You've only got one left on this leg. Totally got this. Let's go. Keep moving. Nearly there. And rest. Well done. Okay, so we're switching to the other leg now. Let's go. On the other side. Stretching. Fists in. Keeping that core pulled in. Keeping those legs engaged. And rest. It helps with stability on this one if you can imagine the inner thighs pulling towards one another. Okay, next round, let's go. Chair. Nearly there. Good stuff. And rest. We've got 2 more rounds on this leg. Having a little walk about. Oh, it's time to go. Keep the tension in the arms. Keep that belly pulling in. Try not to think about the legs too much. I know they're burning, but you're doing brilliantly. You've got one last one to go. Totally got this, and it's totally temporary. Let's go. Good stuff. Keep moving. Keep breathing. Yeah, you did it. Rest. Oh, grab some water. Okay, for the rest, you can either kick your legs from side to side, or you can come down into seated, do butterfly legs, and just flap those butterfly wings a little. Whichever feels best for your body. Okay, there's quite a focus on legs today, you will have noticed. So the next one is down dog kicks. And again, I have 3 options for you. So option 1 is in tabletop. So whichever we decide, we have to do an equal amount on our rights and our lefts. So stick with the right for however many you decide, and then stick with the left for however many you decide. So level 1 is kicking up in tabletop. So we're not kicking back, we're kicking up. So this is really getting into the top, middle and bottom of the glutes. Whereas if you're kicking back, it's more of an exercise for the quads. So really kicking up, bring the knee in, kick it up, bring it in, kick it up. So that's level 1. Level 2 is from downward facing dog. And what you'll find with this one is as you bring the leg in and you kick it up, the more force you give that kick, the more the standing leg is going to come off the ground. So if we're doing this one, we pull the knee in, we kick it up, the other leg comes too. Okay, so with this one, really pull the core in. The stronger the core is, the easier the exercise is going to be. So even though your legs are leading it, your core is really going to support you when you're doing the movement. If you want to do the last 2 rounds as a challenge round, so you can either do 4 rounds on your right leg, 4 rounds on your left leg, or you do 3 rounds on your right, 3 rounds on your left, and then the last 2 is challenge. The last two would be Shakti kicks, which I know you all love, where we kick up with one leg and we land on the other. So we kick up, switch, land. Kick up, switch, land. Kick up, switch, land. Again, really important for your core to be tight if you're going to do Shakti kicks at the end. You want to land as lightly as possible. You can only do that if your core's tight. If you're knackered, don't do the Shakti kicks because you'll end up landing really heavily, and obviously we don't want loads and loads of impact in our joints. A little bit's okay, but we don't want a lot. Everybody ready? Yes, born ready. Okay, so if we're doing level 1, we start in tabletop. Let's go. So starting with the right leg, really kicking up, really pulling the leg in, kicking it up. So it's really getting into the top of the bum. Inhale it in, exhale, kick it up. Moving as fast or as slow as you want. And rest. You can do child's pose to rest on this one if you like. It's quite nice on the hips to come into child's pose. Okay, same leg. So if you're doing down dogs, kick it up. Good. Keep moving. Pull that core in and rest. That's round 2 done. Enjoy the rest. Next round, let's go. Exhale as you kick that leg up. Really pulling the tummy in as you do that too. Excellent. If you're planning to do Shakti kicks, now is the time to switch to the other leg. If you're not planning to do Shakti kicks, do a 4th round on this leg. Or you could have a go at Shakti kicks now. Basically, switch kicks. Pulling that core in. Landing lightly. Okay, that's 4 rounds done. So if you haven't switched to the other leg, it's time to switch to the other leg. So if you're doing tabletops, make sure you're kicking that leg straight up. Inhale it in, exhale, kick it up. And rest. Good stuff. Okay, next round. If you're doing down dog kicks, make sure that core is really pulled in. The harder the core, the easier the movement. Really use those tummy muscles. Really kick up. Exhaling on the up. Excellent. Only 2 rounds left to go. Totally got this. What's 40 seconds anyway? Okay, let's go. Next round. Pulling that core in, pressing the floor away with the hands, using the legs, and rest. Okay, last 20 seconds. If you're doing the Shakti kicks, now is the time for the Shakti kicks. Okay, if you're switching, kick and switch, land lightly. Kick and switch, land lightly. Really pulling those core muscles in. And relax. Well done. You did it. The resting pose for this is child's pose. So you can bring your head to the mat. Either allow your arms to be at the front Or if your wrists need a break, bring your hands around towards your feet. And just have a few breaths in child's pose. Well done. And then coming up into a seated position. Have a bit of water. Our last exercise for today is a lovely one. After all that jumping around, I thought we deserved a little dance. So we're going to do goddess dance. So we start at one end of the mat. We come down into chair. We open into goddess, and then we come into chair on the other side, and we do fists of fire. Come down into chair, open into goddess, into chair, fists of fire. A nice and gentle and lovely one to finish with. Really good for all around the legs and the belly and the bum. So 8 rounds of this, and then we get to lay on the floor. So getting ready at the tops of your mats. Round 1, into chair, open into goddess, into chair, fists of fire, into chair, open into goddess, into chair, fists of fire. Really squeeze everything in. Inhale, open, and round 1 is done. Nice, gentle, lovely one to finish. Okay, round 2. Down into chair, into goddess, into chair, squeeze it all in. Down, open, down, squeeze. Down, open, down, squeeze. Down, open, and rest. 2 rounds done already. Round 3, down, open, down, squeeze. Down, open, down, squeeze. We're obviously going to get a little bit faster as we go. Down, open, down, down, open, down. Good, and rest. 3 down, 5 to go. Let's go. Down, open, down. Down, open, down. Down, open, down. Keeping the bum nice and low. Really getting into those inner thighs. And then when you come up, squeeze and rest. Halfway already. Okay, next round. Let's go. Keep the core pulled in. Keep the bums nice and low. Good stuff. And rest. Nearly there, everyone. Let's go. Good. Okay, last 2 rounds. So this one, when we do our pop, we'll come onto our tiptoes, really squeezing everything in towards the midline. So down, open, down, tiptoe squeeze. Down, open, down, tiptoe squeeze. Good stuff. Keep the breath moving. Keep that core pulling in. Good. And rest. Last round. Either continuing on the tiptoes or do a little pop this time. So down, open, down. Always land the pop before you do the next dance. Good stuff. Good. And rest. You did it. Well done, everybody. Okay, so we'll come down onto the mats. Our feet as wide, I'm going to swear, as our yoga mats. And windscreen wipe over the knees. From one side to the other side. Just allowing the breath to come back to normal. Allowing the heartbeat to gently slow. Trying to extend the exhale so your body starts to cool and relax. Maybe stretching the knee away from you at the end of the movement. So you really get stretched down the side body. Then from here, we'll try and come into hero pose. So go all the way over to one side and then tuck the foot up of the side that's in the middle. And then see if you can bring the other foot up towards your hip as well. So your knees are pointing down onto the mat. Your feet are up by your hips. It doesn't matter whether your knees are together or your knees are apart. We're all built differently in our knees and our hips with our internal and external rotation. But this is a really good stretch for the thighs and the hip flexors. You can even try and stretch the rib cage up. Depending on your anatomy, you might be more comfortable with your feet, toes pointing out to the side, or you might be able to get your toes pointing up towards your shoulders. Depends on how your feet are put together. Just have a few moments here. If you feel like reaching the arms above the head, then feel free to reach the arms above the head. Really reach the chest up towards the ceiling with that too. A couple more breaths here. Then if you have your arms up above the head, bring them down. Let the chest relax. And then lifting one knee, take your feet back to the mat, and then lift the other knee and put your foot back to the mat. And then just a gentle twist from side to side. So take that arm straight out from the shoulders, hug the knees into the chest. Exhale them over to one side, inhale them back to center, trying to keep the shoulders on the floor. Exhale them over to the other side, inhale them back to center. Exhale one way, inhale back to center, keeping those shoulders grounded. Exhale the other way, inhale them back to center. Then put the feet down, stretch the legs out long. Bring the arms down by the sides, tuck the shoulder blades underneath the body. If the lower back is comfortable, keep the legs out long, tailbone tucked under or in neutral. Any issues in the lower back, bring the feet to the mat to let the knees roll in, or take the soles of the feet together and let the knees roll out. Entirely up to you. And then just have 10 deep breaths in savasana, making the exhale 2 counts longer than the inhale. Gently bring the awareness back to the body, maybe wiggling the fingers and toes, maybe turning the head from one side over to the other side, maybe circling through the wrists or the ankles. Move your body in whatever way it wants to move. If you want to stretch, then stretch. If you want to twist, then twist. If you want to hug your knees in, hug your knees in. And then when you're ready, roll over onto your side, come up to seated, and we're finished with 3 deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. If you want to do lion's breath, then feel free to do lion's breath. If you're doing that, really stretch the chest forward and poke the tongue out as far as it will go. In either case, in through the nose, out through the mouth for 3 breaths. Thank you for making the effort to get up and come and get sweaty with me this morning. I hope you enjoyed it and I hope you feel better for it.